All right, everybody, welcome back to our Alice in Chains album review series. We enter in a new era for the band. Of course, last time we covered the MTV Unplugged, concert set, as it was just an important, moment in the band's history. And after that, the band would kind of release just a couple more songs, like post that Unplugged. I know they would have to stop touring because Lane was, again, really unhealthy at the time due to the all the heroin use and everything, and we'd get songs like "Get Born Again," and crazily enough, the final song with Lane was released and recorded was a song called "Died." It's kind of ironic, but just very, very sad stuff. And we'd lose Mike Starr, who was the original bassist of the band, not too long after that, a couple years after that, so just really dark stuff that went down. But, then there was a memorial show that went down that had a lot of guests going on, and a guy named William Duvall, who also did touring with backup vocals for Jerry, for Boggy Depot, and I think he was doing it with Boggy on the Boggy Depot tour. I know for sure on the Degradation Trip tour. But, yeah, so that guy, sure enough, gets the call to join the band. And in 2009, this album right here gets dropped. Black Gives Way to Blue. That many years from 1995 all the way till 2009. It took a long time, a lot of grief going on with the band, and we're going to hear a lot of that grief come out on this record right here. Really, this is like the natural evolution for the band, it seems. The way the songwriting was kind of going, the sludginess in some of these tracks. Although I do think if Lame would have maybe stuck around, and was still in there, I think they would have been, because, Get Born Again had kind of an industrial kind of vibe to it, and Died, honestly, that sounded just like a classic, just riffer, just straight up track that you'd find off, like, Dirt or something, but Get Born Again was such an interesting song, for the band, so maybe they would have leaned a little bit more, but at the same time, that also kind of sounds like something that would be off here. But, Jerry, because I know a lot of people are kind of under the camp, a lot less people nowadays, but they're still out there that they're like, no Lane, I'm not listening. It's like, you guys are doing yourself a disservice, man. Like, at least give it a try, right? Because I was, from the first single I heard off here, I was like, damn, that's really good stuff. But it took me a little while to kind of go back to it. And then once I went back into it and then actually explored the record and then, the other records, I'm a fan of this lineup here. But with all that being said here, let's look right off the bat with All Secrets Known. Kind of like this kind of dragging riff going on here with this one. I love the vocal harmonies between William and Jerry. This time, and Jerry, apparently in the production, he kind of turned up in the mixing and mastering, lowered Williams, parts in just a little bit, not to not make like a jarring difference, for a lot of the fans of the classic Alice. You don't want to just and over the years, as we'll see with the next reviews, that's kind of gotten less and less, but I mean, you still hear William in there for sure, and I love this the riff that just kind of drives through in this track, and the breakdown in this is where it gets me. There's some kind of progressive moments on this record, and the band's kind of embraced a lot of that, which, they did embrace a lot in the Three-Legged Dog, but this track, I mean, just that breakdown and kind of the classic, Alice in Chains kind of, you have all these layering of vocals. Really, really cool stuff going on. Then we go with that first single. First one, I think it was the first single for this. It was the first track I ever heard with William on it. Check My Brain. What a monstrous riff, man. Just more of an upbeat kind of track. And that riff is just so freaking sick. The tone, Jerry just recaptured his tone like no problem. Right back into it. The chorus in this one's hooky as all get out, man. Just one of the best off here, period. And I'll just never forget hearing that for the first time. My uncle showing it to me, and I was like, wow. It's different. It ain't Lane singing on there, but damn, just great stuff. Great stuff. Check My Brain is, I think that was a big moment, releasing that single for the band, that first single after all these years, And just what a way to do it. I think that was the right choice because it just, you know. Then we go with William gets to take on a pretty big role, you know, doing most of the vocal work here, which, again, we'll see more as years go by. A little bit less on this album, but right here on Last of My Kind, he damn sure does it. Takes lead and does it very strong with these just really, really cool, this kind of soulful type voice he's got. He just has an incredible range. I think Williams just a freaking incredible singer. And this is an aggressive song. You get in that chorus, you know, take what I want. Forgetting the lyrics off the top of my head. Feed the fucking liars. You know, it's something like that, you know. Smash all the temples, crawl through the rubble, and you cry for the fallen. Just really, really freaking cool stuff. Really heavy, and then it kind of goes down into like a darker tone, like the next, I think the chorus or so after that. Really, really awesome song. I think this is a big highlight off here too. And I love just as that riff's just kind of grinding on, you know, you get William just soulfully singing his way in these verses. Then you get that aggression. Then we go on to, this is like the second single, I think, off here, was Your Decision. What a beautiful song. You know, of course, talking about dealing with, you know, substance abuse, you know. With Jerry, it was, you know, alcohol. He had an alcohol problem. And, of course, Lane and Mike Starr had major, you know, heroin problems, and as well as other drugs, mainly the heroin thing. So this is just a really, really touching song with some really pretty chords going on and big message behind it, you know. And I love after the chorus when, you know, you get that kind of, whenever they're like, it's over, you know, and then they're kind of running through that little lick on the guitar that kind of rings through, and then Jerry whips out just a crazy great solo in this one. One of my favorites off here. Just such a pretty and powerful song, you know, paying tribute to, you know, to Lane, and, you know, really just, it rings true to anybody who has dealt with substance abuse. I mean, I haven't personally, but, you know, I mean, you can just feel the passion in there. Then we've got A Looking in View, which I think was a single off here too, and what a complex song, man. This one is heavy as all get out. Just kind of like a chuggy kind of riff with these cool, you know, time signatures. And one of my favorite parts of the whole song, it only does it one time, and it's like the break, like the pre-chorus. The first, it's like the pre-chorus, right? Like a breakdown to the pre-chorus and then the chorus. And it's like, it sounds like a classic Alice moment. I mean, and it happens just, again, just at the first, during that first, like, section of the song. You'll know what I'm talking about if you hear it. It just sounds like a straight-up classic moment, and you can hear, you know, you can hear Lane almost in here. I mean, several of these songs you can just hear, like, whispers of them. It's crazy, due to the mixing, and just, I mean, of course, and you still got Jerry on vocals, and William's not even trying to sound like Lane. He's doing his own thing, but in singing his way. But he was the perfect singer to choose for this. And then I love the kind of the groove this thing's got going on kind of near the end with that na 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 na, and just kind of keeps grooving on. It kind of a lengthy track, bursts back into the chorus. One of the best ones off here, A Looking in View. Then we got another really pretty acoustic one here with When the Sun Rose Again. I love the really, really pretty singing from Jerry and William. You know, Jerry will do his thing, and then William comes in with like an octave higher with these background vocals. It just blends perfectly. And, you know, the acoustic guitar, I mean, we've seen, you know, these guys just knock acoustic stuff out of the park with Sap and Jar of Flies. So whenever they tackle something like this, of course, it's going to be awesome. And that's another one of my favorites off here. I love the kind of ringing effect the clean guitar has on the during the chorus, and just kind of a short and sweet acoustic track. Then we get another one that's just probably the sludgiest on here, and, you know, funnily enough, it's called Acid Bubble, and some crazy, you know, out of nowhere time changes on this one. And this one's got kind of just like such a dirgy freaking riff to it, this slow and doomy kind of vibe to it. And then you get like a classic kind of Alice moment, you know, with that pre-chorus. You continue it on for a little bit, and about halfway through, just, you get this freaking heavy as hell riff, and just time signature change out of nowhere. And then, you know, they're just repeating like whatever it is built into the system, um, intent. I don't remember what it says, damn it, but off the top of my head, but I know it's just built into the system. Um, you know, I just such an awesome song. One of my favorites off here. It always has been. I love how, and again, there's a lot of lengthier tracks on here, which I'm all about them, like proggy kind of lengthier tracks. And Acid Bubble's one of them, and it's even more jarring, but in a good way at the end whenever that part kicks in. Like they're just kind of doing their thing, after the solo and everything, and then kind of a groove's going on, and then just bam, that riff smacks you in the face. Then we get Lesson Learned. This one's we got a really really hooky melody during or melody during the verses. Just really, I mean, hell, the verses are hookier than the freaking chorus. I think and the chorus is damn good too. But this one, I'd say that one might be lean a little bit less, rank kind of low for me on the album as far as my favorites go. But I do love it. It's an incredible song. And I would say the same about All Secrets Known, the opening track. I think both of those are maybe some of my least favorites, but I absolutely love them. Really cool riff and Lesson Learned. Then we get Take Her Out, and I think that might be my least favorite song. But I do like it. Kind of got a cool, grind to it, and a really cool chorus. I love when the chorus builds even more near the end of the song, and William chimes in with these high pitched, just crazy, awesome vocals that are layered and on top of all the other stuff going on. Makes for a really cool kind of mixture. But just, probably my least favorite though. Still an awesome song though. And if that's your worst song on an album, you're doing, fucking great. Then we get this one, this might be my favorite. I might have to call it my favorite, Private Hell. This one is just such a dark song, man. You can hear the ghosts of Lane in this one, just singing like after, and again, these lyrics are just they're really dark, and you get, these, after kind of the first verses, you'll hear like and like it sounds just like Lane singing it, man. Like, oh, you could close your eyes and, show somebody who didn't know, and be like, oh, hey, this is a lost, Alice in Chains track that they recorded back in the 90s, and, some people may just not be able to tell because it just sounds like Lane is just within this here, and I love the chorus and everything. But that main kind of riff that's kind of going on, that's just dark, and you just, it's a sorrowful riff. Some of the lyrics are just brilliant. Flowers on a cross remain, mark an ending scene. Damn it, all of blood you spilled turns the grass more green. Just poetry, man. I mean, and it talks about I'll move on and life is short. Just dark stuff, man. But just one of the best freaking songs by these guys, period. Call me crazy, but I mean, I just love this song. This one's always been a really emotional track. It just rings, it's just a standout on here and a standout in their discography. Then you end it with probably the most emotional track on here. We're talking about the title track, Black Gives Way to Blue, in which Elton John actually plays piano on, which is funny because Jerry apparently in an interview was saying like he whenever they were in the studio, kind of joking around like, man, it'd be pretty badass, if Elton came in to play it. Well, sure enough, whoever was in the studio with them, they went out and got Elton. He did it and played the piano. There's even a piano mix on like as a bonus track on like Spotify or like digital releases that adds more piano, which is cool. But this is the version right here that's the normal studio version you want, because just that siren type, kind of guitar thing going on just adds to the sorrow of the song. I don't want to feel no more. It's easier to keep falling. Really was sad stuff. Jerry said this one was just a hard song to write. It was just, or not a hard song to write, but just a really sad one. He had to really tap into like, his thoughts and grieving, Lane, and kind of helped him in the grieving process when writing this song. And, you even get like a little xylophone Sean Kinney does on in the mid after the first chorus that goes on, and just such a really, really pretty but sad song. I mean, this one, especially the first time, it'll damn near, if it doesn't, it'll damn near bring you a tear to your eye. I mean, it's just really sad stuff, and it gets you thinking, about Lane and, all just the sad history of the band, of stuff that was just going down in these guys' lives and how it took for them all to get here. And it really is the perfect closure to this album. One of my favorite songs by them, period. Such a pretty piece. But yeah, guys, this album, if you've not checked it out, if you've maybe shied away from the, non-Layne stuff, please, do yourself a favor, give this thing at least a try. And maybe if you can't get into it the first time, maybe come back a little bit later and give it a listen, because it's Alice in Chains. It's unmistakably Alice in Chains. There's, and like I said at the beginning, it's the natural evolution of the band of kind of how their sound would be anyways, and you hear Layne, like, in a way, in a lot of these tracks, like, just kind of, because that's always been, like, the harmonies in Alice in Chains has always been a thing, and they still have those harmonies with William, who in his own right is just an incredible singer, just like whenever he takes the lead vocals on Last of My Kind. But just an absolute, I think it's a masterpiece and just a great, comeback album. This is how you do a comeback album. After all those years, load this thing up and just with so much emotion and passion to it to make just a freaking legendary comeback record. But anyways, guys, we're getting closer and closer to doing the ranking because we only got 2 albums left to review. We enter in the 2010s next time with 2013's The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. So it'll be fun looking at that. That one kind of takes a bit of a heavier approach for the most part. Not that this puppy right here ain't heavy. But yeah, we'll look at that next time. And then, of course, Rain or Fog after that. And it'll be ranking time. And then, yeah, I can't remember if I've already talked about it or not. I probably have. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to go see these guys in September live. So can't wait to go do that. So really, this is like the perfect kind of series to build up to all that excitement for me. So I'm really hyped to go see them. I've never seen them, period. So this will be a really fun, it'll be a really fun deal. And there's been rumors that they just might in the middle of the show do like a mini unplugged set. There's Jerry kind of hinted at that in interviews. So that'd be really cool to kind of have in there. But anyways, yeah, let me know what you guys think about the reunion of Alice in Chains, their return. And, William Duvall on vocals. Do you love him, hate him? Have you even checked this stuff out before? Maybe even like this stuff better than some of the Layne stuff. And if you do, that's awesome. If you don't, hey, I feel you, either way. But just, yeah. And if you guys, I'd love to hear, maybe we can talk about like our first reactions to how this thing was, whenever you first heard it and stuff down there in the comments. Really, a lot of interesting discussion that could be had about this album and this era of Alice in Chains. But anyways, like, subscribe, comment, guys. We're almost to 100 subscribers. We're one away, and that would be freaking gnarly if we can get there. But anyways, thanks, guys.